Hello everybody, I hope everyone is doing well and welcome back. So I went throughout my entire collection and I chose my top 3 favorite products from every category. These products in front of me are the ones I use the most often in my everyday life, and of course they're no strangers to my channel as well. I feel like some of these categories were harder than others, specifically with the blushes and the bronzers. I feel like my favorite blushes change on an everyday basis, sometimes even hourly. That's definitely an exaggeration, but those sections were very challenging. I feel like this video would be a fun one to bring back yearly or every 6 months-ish. So if you enjoyed today's video, please let me know. So I feel like this one's going to be on the longer side. So before we get into it, I'd love for you to subscribe if you aren't already. It means so much to me, and let's get to it. So I will be going in order of application so we don't get confused, or should I say so I don't get confused. So I'm gonna start off with my favorite primers, and the first one I'd like to talk about is this one right here, the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip. This primer is the first one that made me believe in primers, so to speak. It's the first one that I noticed a drastic difference in the longevity of my makeup. This one really helps to adhere your makeup on your face all day. So if you're needing one that helps the longevity, I definitely check this one out. This one has been around for a minute, but it's seriously still the best. I love to whip this one out in the summertime, or if I was in a hotter climate on vacation or something. It even works amazingly in humid climates. It's just a fantastic one to have on hand for those longer days where you need your makeup to really stay put. The second primer should come to no surprise. It's the Milani Soft Focus Glow. This is just, I don't know what it is about this one. Actually, I do. It's just phenomenal and point blank. What I love about this one is that it gives such a glowy, warm glow to your skin without looking like a Tin Man or anything like that. It just adds so much warmth under your makeup, and it just makes it feel like summer all year round, and that's just what I want. This product offers it, so I love it so much. It also feels very nourishing because it does have hyaluronic acid. So it doesn't just feel like a makeup product when you apply it. It feels really hydrating, and it just makes your makeup look phenomenal. And the last primer here is a newer one, but it has quickly become a favorite, and it's awesome because it does protect me at the same time. It's the Supergoop Glow Screen, and I'm so happy this is available in Canada now. I've been dying to get my hands on this, and I'm so happy I have this in my collection. It's what I've been using the most often, because it's like a 2-in-1 product. It primes my skin, gives me an all-over glow, and it also keeps me protected since it's an SPF 40. It just has everything I want. This one does provide more of an intense glow. It has like a more, not silvery glow, but it's just a lot more brightening, if that makes any sense. But it's not to the point where it looks like a Tin Man either. It's just the perfect amount of super glow that I look for. I'm wearing this one under my makeup today. It's just phenomenal, and I feel like this is a product I'm going to be repurchasing time and time again. I adore it. It's a phenomenal product. So now let's move on to my 3 favorite foundations. I first wanted to talk about this one right here. It's the Cosmetics Daydream Cushion Foundation. This has got to be my all-time favorite foundation just because it has every quality I look for in a foundation. It's super easy to apply. I don't have to think about it. It applies beautifully with a brush or the cushion it comes with. I love how it's so blurring. It's honestly magic. Every time I apply this to my skin, I can't believe how good my skin looks. And this was honestly such a savior a couple months back when I was feeling quite insecure about my skin, when I was dealing with a lot of acne issues. The way it blurred my skin and corrected it, it was just amazing, and it made me feel so confident when I wasn't really feeling at my most confident. It has a light to medium coverage. It's also buildable, but it never builds to the point where it gets cakey or texture enhancing. Also, if you're dealing with dry patches and that kind of texture, it doesn't enhance it at all. It just kind of ignores it. It almost hydrates it, because this product does have a lot of skincare benefits. And that's another reason why I adore this product so much, is because it just feels like a serum on your skin that doesn't make you feel greasy or heavy. It just feels undetectable, and it also plays well with any product, whether it's underneath or on top of it. It's like everything. I feel like I could talk about this all day. It's just my perfect foundation. And the shade I use the most often, if you're curious, is Gentle Light. My second favorite foundation is this one right here. I feel like I haven't been able to shut up about this one at all this month. It's the Fenty Beauty Eavesdrop Blurring Skin Tint. I use the shade number 5. I can't believe how good this one makes my skin look. This one has a lot more coverage than the M Cosmetics one, and this one does have like a soft matte texture to it, and I find that this one wears better with a mask on top of it. I don't find that my makeup moves around under my mask when I use this one. I've had nothing but success with this product. It wears beautifully on my oily combo skin, and it's also very easy to use. You just blend it in with your fingers and then you're good to go. Although this one does have a little bit more coverage than I usually go for, and it has that soft matte look. It looks so undetectable on your skin, and once it's blended on, it just looks like your skin, which is incredible. And I'd like to give it extra points because the packaging is just too cute. This is another product I feel like I can't get enough of, and I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. And my last favorite foundation is the e.l.f. Cosmetics Flawless Satin Foundation. I'm surprised I don't hear about this more often. I don't know why that is, but I find that this one sits right in between the M Cosmetics Daydream Cushion and the Fenty Beauty Eavesdrops. It just is like a perfect mixture of the two of them, I find, and at a better, more affordable price. I love the finish because it has that glowy satiny finish, but this one does provide you with more coverage, and this one wears incredibly as well. It has that lightweight texture, it doesn't feel heavy at all, and it plays well with so many different products. I have been using the shade 240 Vanilla the most often. I will say that this product does apply best with a brush for some reason. I think a sponge just sops it up too much, and I haven't had much success blending it in with my fingers as well, so brush is where it's at. But this is one of those products that feels more high-end than a product you can find at the drugstore, in my opinion. I love this stuff to bits. So now it's time to get into my 3 favorite concealers right now. So of course, you all saw it coming, Kosas Revealer Concealer. This is probably my all-time favorite concealer. I feel like it looks good with anything, no matter how much coverage I have on or if I even have any coverage. This is my go-to concealer even on my lazy girl days where I just need to brighten up under my eyes, or if I want to filter some areas of my skin, like where I have some acne scars and some dark spots. This is my go-to because whenever I apply it, it's just so seamless. It doesn't enhance anything, it just feels like skincare, and it honestly just doesn't even look like it's there once it's on your skin. It has a really lovely finish. It has a glowier finish, but it does set really well. If you set it with powder, it doesn't budge at all. Ever since I first purchased this, it's been a favorite. The only downside to this product is that it does expire quickly, but I find that that's the downside with a lot of clean beauty products, is that they do tend to expire within like the first 6 months that you own them. So that is the only downside to this. Other than that, it's perfection in my eyes. The next product is actually another e.l.f. product, and it is the Hydrating Camel Concealer. This one's really, really nice. Dare I say that it kind of reminds me of the OG Tarte Shape Tape, but a more hydrating and flattering version of it. I think that could be just because of the wand. It could be, but ever since this came into my collection, it's made it into my concealer rotation. It performs really beautifully, and I do find this one to be a lot more long wearing than a lot of other hydrating concealers I've tried in the past. This one does have a good amount of coverage. I'd say that this one is medium to full depending on how much you apply, but I've had nothing but an amazing experience with this concealer, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. And this last one quickly became a favorite, and it is the Josie Maran Vibrancy Concealer. It's the Argan Oil Full Coverage Concealer, and this one really reminds me of the Pat McGrath concealer. The only difference is the texture. This one feels more like a cream, a classic concealer cream texture, and the Pat McGrath one has more of like a unique gel cooling texture. Putting them head to head, I honestly feel like this one could win, just because this one has so much coverage. It has a thinner consistency, and when it's under your eye, you seriously can't detect it, even though it has so much coverage. It's a very unique piece, and it's great for those days when you don't get much sleep. If you were on TikTok a little too late one night, here's your magic product. Here it is. It's phenomenal. I feel like I've been saying that word too much today. forgive me, but that's just what it is. It's fantastic. There we go. Now let's get into my powders, and I feel like this is very predictable because I don't really switch out my powders that much. So you guys knew it, Pat McGrath Under Eye Blurring Powder had to be in here. I feel like this is probably the product I use the most in all of my videos. This is pretty much the only product I set my under eyes with, unless if I'm trying a new powder and a new products video or testing something out. I pretty much always revert to this one. It's just hands down the best product to put under your eye. It has such a finely milled texture. Like when you first touch this powder, it feels like nothing I felt before. It's so soft. It's probably one of the softest things I've ever felt in my life. And it translates that way under your eyes, and it sets any concealer perfectly. And sometimes I'll even treat myself and I'll set other areas of my face because it's just that good. I wish this came in a bigger compact so I could use it all over my face, but I use this mostly just under my eyes since it is such a small pan. But I feel like the amount of times I use this on my channel speaks for itself. You guys know. And of course, the loose version had to be in this video as well. This is my favorite all over loose setting powder, just because I find with other loose powders, they can get to a very cakey state real quick, but that doesn't happen with this one. This one, you just need the smallest amount and you're set literally all day. Another thing I love about this one is that it doesn't cut all of the shine, all of the glow from your skin. It still allows the radiance of your skin to shine through, so you don't look super matte all day. You just look nice and glowy without being greasy. Love it. And my last favorite powder is this pressed powder here. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish. I use the shade 1 Fair, and I recently hit pan on this, and that doesn't happen that often since I try out so many products all the time. But this one is incredible because it does just truly make your skin look airbrushed. This has got to be the best blurring powder I've come across, and I also like to use this one when I accidentally use too much blush. I like to add a sheer layer of this one since it does kind of have a tint. It just calms that area down. This one just fixes all of my mistakes and keeps me looking fresh all day. I also really like its tiny compact, so I can just fit it into my purse if I'm out and about all day. It's just a perfect blotting powder as well. It's just everything. It's great. Now let's move on to my 3 favorite brow products. I only use 3 products in my brows, so this was perfect. My favorite pencil is the M Cosmetics Fine Liner Brow Pencil. I use the shade Ebony, but this one is my favorite brow pencil of all time because of its shape. I'll make sure to include a good photo so you can really see what kind of shape this is. It's this perfect thin oval shape. So you can use it on its side if you need to cover more ground area, or you can flip it so you can get really thin, fine hair-like strokes with it. And it also isn't such a pigmented pencil where it's going to give you really artificial looking brows. It gives a really natural effect. It's just perfection. And I really like how they included a spoolie on the other side, and it's a good quality one. I've never experienced it breaking off, and I find that can be quite common, especially with the Anastasia ones. Every Anastasia pencil I've had, the spoolie always broke off, but that hasn't been the case. But this one, it just feels really well thought out. It works really well. It's just the best eyebrow pencil I've come across. And I also find that it stands out to me because of its unique shape. Now let's move on to another M Cosmetics product. This is the brow cream. This is the product I have been using in my brows for probably 2 years straight. I use this sometimes on its own, especially if I have freshly tinted brows. I just like to run this through real quick, and it just fills in my brows. It fluffs them up and it makes it look like I have more brows than I actually do have, and it also holds them in place really well. If you're someone who hates filling in your eyebrows every day, this is the perfect product for you because it's so quick and easy. You don't have to think about it. It's super easy to use because the spoolie is the perfect size. You're able to really get in there and coat every brow hair you have, even if you have just a few like me. It really helps the people with thin brows. And the last brow product I wanted to mention is this one right here. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Brow Fix. I really underestimated this product. I thought it was just going to be another clear brow situation that didn't really offer too much hold, and it would make my eyebrows feel really crispy. I like to use this on the days where I want my brows to have more texture and hold and a spikier vibe. This one doesn't offer like the slicked on your skin spiked brow effect, but it just adds a lot more texture to them without making them feel crispy or crunchy during the day. It just holds them in place, and when I use these two products in conjunction, it's a dream team. This is one of those sneaky products when you first apply it, you're like kind of unsure about it, but then suddenly you're using it every day. That's been my situation with this. Another admirable thing about this one is that a lot of product actually comes out on the spoolie, so it's a really quick application. You just run it through your brows, and a lot of brow gel applies to your brows, so you're able to like shape them and maneuver them in any way possible. In the past, with these types of brow gels, I found that I had to dip back into the tube a lot more times than I do with this one. This one's just really quick and easy, and I love that because I don't like spending a lot of time on my brows. So it's time to get into my favorite bronzers. The first one here is the Kosas bronzer. I have the shade Light. It's a soft bronze. This one will give you the most natural bronzed effect. The texture is incredible. I love how slowly this one builds up. So you can get a really natural look or a more defined look depending on how much you build it up. I also love the finish of it. You can kind of see what I mean when I move it around. It has this really nice glow shining through it that doesn't look glittery or pearlescent. Honestly, it just has this natural radiant glow to it that just looks incredible. This is my favorite bronzer to reach for if I'm doing a more natural or no makeup look, just because it gives that really nice subtle defined look. Super easy to use and diffuse. It's just amazing. Another powder bronzer here that gives kind of an opposite effect. This one gives a more dramatic bronzed effect. This is the e.l.f. Cosmetics Forever Sun Kissed bronzer. It's the primer infused bronzer. Although this one does give a more dramatic finish, it's really user friendly. It builds up and diffuses very effortlessly, and I've gotten a flawless finish every time I use this product. I also find this one to be quite unique because when you swatch it, it does feel like it has some moisture running through the product, and that's because it's primer infused. So this one wears beautifully. It lasts all day. It never fades. It's there for the long haul, and for that reason I love it and I trust it and I highly recommend it. Moving on to my last bronzer favorite, which has to go to the Patrick Ta Cream Contour and Powder Duo. I use the shade She's Sculpted, and oh my goodness, is this ever a dream come true. This is the product I have on my face right now. I used the cream and the powder today, but this one's phenomenal. Similarly to the blush duos, either side works amazingly on its own or layered on top of one another. The formulas are really easy to manipulate. They build up very slowly and they diffuse effortlessly. The cream side is beautiful on its own. It has a really nice sheen to it that's not too glowy looking or greasy looking. It's just a really nice soft matte texture. And the bronzer side has this beautiful pearlescence running through it, so it adds a ton of glow too. It's not just your simple matte powder bronzer. It has a uniqueness to it. Ever since this was added to my collection, I've been using it like crazy. This has been my most used bronzer over the last couple of weeks. It's time to get into the highlighters, and it's honestly perfect because I have a powder, a cream, and a liquid version. I'll start off with the liquid, and my favorite has got to be the Rare Beauty Liquid Luminizers. This isn't shade specific. I have 3 in my collection and I really love them all, and I like to mix them together to create my own shades as well. But this formula is beautiful. It's just a really nice natural looking sheen. You can also build it up so it's more intense if you'd like. I really love this because it's easy to apply. It sinks right into your base, so it looks extra natural, but it also eventually sets down, so you're not stuck with sticky cheekbones, and that way it's more long wearing. This has got to be my most favorite liquid highlighter I've ever come across. It's just been nothing but incredible. Now moving on to my favorite powder highlighter. This is the JULIAA Daylight Highlighting Powder, and I use the shade Decades. This has got to be my all-time favorite powder illuminator just because it looks good all the time. I've never had a time that it looked bad on me. I like this one because it's quite buildable as well, so you can build it up to an intense state if you'd like, or you can really buff it into your skin to give it a really natural sheeny look. This one is really awesome because it has a creamy texture as well, so it just melts once you apply it. And it also has a really fine milled pearl in there, so it doesn't look detectable or texture enhancing at all. It's just been a really reliable highlighter, and I adore it. And my last one I wanted to talk about is kind of a loophole product because it does include an extra blush. I found a way to include a fourth blush. But it is the Kosas Tropic Equinox Color and Light Cream Duo. Yes, I recently decluttered this, but I repurchased it because I missed it dearly the few weeks I didn't have this in my collection. I just adore this product so much because it wears so nicely, it's easy to blend, and the colors are just perfection. This is my favorite duo to reach for if I'm not sure what to pair my eyes or lips with. It's just a no-brainer, super easy to use that way. The highlighting side is so nice because it's the most natural looking cream highlight. It just gives like a glossy cheek vibe that isn't too sticky at all. I will say that it is on the tackier side, but that sometimes is just a thing with cream highlights. This one doesn't set down, but that personally isn't a downside. It doesn't keep me away from this product at all. It's just a lovely product in my eyes. And just to add a little something about the blush, it's just the perfect everyday warm cheek color. We've made it to my blushes, so let's get into it. My first one here is the NARS Air Matte Blush. I'm wearing the shade Gasp on my cheeks today. I love this one because it can be applied very naturally, so just a little hint of something, or you can build it up so you can get a more impactful finish like I have on today. This one is more formula wise. My other favorite shade is Hushed. So these two are some of my most worn blushes in my collection just because of the ease of use and the longevity, and I just find them to be quite unique because the texture is truly unlike any other cream blush I've felt. It almost feels like if you were swatching an Aero chocolate bar with all those little air bubbles in it. It's a blush version of the Aero chocolate bar. What a funny comparison, but that's what it reminds me of. It's really easy to use. I like to apply it with a brush the most, just because the packaging doesn't really allow you to really get in there with your fingers, but it applies flawlessly with a brush anyways. The next one is a powder blush, and it's from e.l.f. Cosmetics. This is the shade Always Rosy, and this is also part of their primer infused blushes. I just love this color because it's the perfect summery, sunburnt kind of shade. It's just so cute, and it applies beautifully. It's exactly like the bronzer. It lasts a really long time. It's super easy to apply. It's just flawless every time, and it's been one of my most used blushes because of its ease of use. And my last blush favorite is the Melt Cosmetics cream blushes, and now that I've had them in my collection for a while, I wanted to take a second to mention my favorite shades while I'm at it. So my favorite shades have been Sandy Cheeks, which is one of the flat colors, meaning that this one doesn't have any of the pearls in it. It's a really nice suntan, sunburn kind of shade as well. The next one is Lynx, which is my most worn because it's quite unique. It has like more of a golden color to it, and this one does have a pearl essence to it. It's just a really unique color. It has golden hues, and it's just very flattering on my golden undertone. And my last favorite color is Sundown, which is the bronziest of them all right here. And this one also has the pearl running through it. So you can see the difference right here. This one doesn't have the pearl, this one doesn't, so you can see the one with the pearl essence are glowier. These are incredible cream blushes, very easy to use, of course. I like to use my fingers, a brush, or a sponge. They are compatible with any tool. I think my favorite thing about this collection is the shades that they launched. They're just the perfect shades that I've been asking for all this time. So now it's time to move on to eye products. I'm going to start off with eyeshadow palettes. I honestly haven't been into any eyeshadow palettes for a while, it feels like. I've been more on the eyeliner or one and done eyeshadow trade. I've kind of been enjoying focusing on my skin more so than the eyes for some reason. I've been opting for a more simple eye look like I have on today. But anyways, let's get into the palettes. The first one, and my most used one recently, has been the Little Melt Stack. This is their neutral stack, I love how mini this is. It's so portable, and the colors are perfect because they're perfectly neutral, so they suit any blush color or lip color. You just don't have to think about it. My favorite color to use is this mid-tone shade. I have it all over my lid today. It's just the perfect mid-tone brown shade for my skin tone. It's not too warm, not too cool. It's just perfect. I love how this one is mostly mattes because I do love Melts mattes the most out of all of their eyeshadows. And I love how simple and easy this one is to use. This has been the eyeshadow palette I've been reaching for the most ever since this became part of my collection. I am going to include a funky one in today's video because I have been using this a ton and it is my most used colorful palette of all time. It is the Sugar Pill Fun Size palette. I love this one. If I want to add a little fun pop to my look, I'll use this as like an inner corner highlight or under my lash line or as the finishing touch to my eyeliner. It's just a really fun palette. I love how this one's laid out. I find this one to be very inspiring to look at as well. The way it's laid out is just genius in my eyes. If you look at the shades horizontally or vertically, it's a perfect look for you. They're all very complementary to one another, although they're just a bunch of funky colors. The quality of the eyeshadows in here are phenomenal as well. They pack a lot of punch for colorful eyeshadows. They don't run chalky. They do have that nice, rich, creamy texture to them. So they adhere to your eyelid really nicely and they build up flawlessly. I just use this one so much. And lastly, I had to mention a bigger neutral palette, and it has to go to this one right here. And this is the Side by Side nude palette from Nabla. This palette here just has it all. It has cool tones, warm tones, neutral tones. All I could ask for is in this one simple palette, and Nabla's formula is phenomenal as well. And I like how there's a variety of textures in this one as well. There's not just satin, metallics, and mattes. There's also this topper formula that just adds an extra layer of dimension to your looks that is just so fun and unresistible. It's perfection. So I thought it'd be fun to include some one and done shades in this video as well. So I have 3 here. I first want to talk about the Smashbox Always On Cream Shadows. These are so simple to use, and you can use them in such a variety of ways. I like to use them all over my lid, or I can use them as bases as well, or even eyeliners. They just do it all. And the shade range is really fun. My favorite shade, and the shade I use most often, is Greige, just because it's that perfect gray beige color. The other colors I do have in my collection are Guava, Olive, and Sienna, but I don't think it's going to stop here. I will probably expand my collection here as time goes on because they're just that good. They blend out very easily and they eventually set down so they don't budge or crease at all. They're user-friendly and they are super long wearing. My next one and done favorite is this one right here, the Tom Ford Emotion Proof color in the shade 10 Abyssinian. This is my perfect brown color. Although I spent a lot of money on this, it's worth every penny in my eyes. It's my perfect brown shade. It blends beautifully, wears a really long time. It's a warm, almost neutral leaning brown color. It's quite unique, but it just looks incredible against my green eyes. Since it has that hint of warmth in it, it really brings out the green. This is one of the products where if I'm not sure which direction to take my makeup in, I'll always reach for this one because I'm always happy with the result. And my last one and done favorite is the Kosas Globe 10 Second Eyeshadow. This is possibly one of the more unique pieces I have in my collection just because it's so liquidy and you wouldn't think it would work as well as it does. This one does have a sheen to it. It's like a satin texture, but what's really cool is when you use this as the only shade all over your lid, the base color blends really nicely. It doesn't separate at all, so it just leaves a really nice base shade, but it adds a ton of glow as well, and it lasts such a long time too. I've never experienced any creasing issues with this, which is surprising because it's so liquidy. It's one of those products that kind of baffle me every time I use it. I always feel like I underestimate it, and it always takes me by surprise. I just love it. I'd love to see them come out with more shades. Although they do have quite a few other colors, I'm just not really interested in them. I would just really like to see more colors come out in this because it's such an incredible product. Like, why not? right? So that's it for my one and done colors. Now let's move on to eyeliners. I have these Makeup by Mario pencils that are honestly my favorite product that he offers. My favorite one is the shade Soft Brown. This is the color I have been using nonstop. I'm wearing it today. It's just a really unique brown color that is so beautiful and unique. I feel like this is one of the products I'm going to be repurchasing and repurchasing time after time. I feel like this is going to be a forever product. The quality of these liners are incredible. They blend really nicely. You're able to get really sharp looks. And I love how creamy these liners are. They never skip even if you're using a brush. They're incredibly easy to use and I highly recommend them. And another fun thing about these is that it comes with this little brush on the other side that I actually use. Usually with products that come with brushes or tools, I usually never use them, but this brush comes in handy when you're trying to smoke out your liner or whatnot. It just really helps with the situation and it feels really soft. And it actually does something. I forgot to mention, but these do wear really nicely in the waterline as well. So user-friendly, gorgeous products. Another eyeliner pencil that I've been loving is the e.l.f. and Jen Atkin Zero Effort Liner. I just have the black one, but I know they launched a brown one as well. But this one is truly effortless. You can smoke this one out with no issue. It's my favorite pencil to use in that way. If you like to get more of a grungy look or a smoked liner look, this is the product to go to. This one also stands out to me because it is a square, so it never rolls off my desk. So I think that's another aspect of why I pick this one up so often. And you can use a normal sharpener to sharpen this. I got a lot of questions about that in my last video using this, but it's effortless to use. It doesn't roll around everywhere. It's just great. And I hope that they keep this formula around because it's just too good. And my last eyeliner favorite is from Nabla. It's the Cupid's Arrow in the shade Arrow number 4. This is like a stick version of the Melt Cosmetics pot liner. I've honestly been using this one more so than the Melt Cosmetics one just because it's easier to use since it's in stick form. You can just throw it into your waterline a lot quicker and the formula is so easy to blend. I just swatched this a few seconds ago and look how it remains so creamy and easy to use. Like, it's insane. Like, what? This right here is my favorite to use as a base all over the lid if I'm doing a black smoky eye or if I'm using it underneath like a duochrome shadow to make it pop more, or if I'm doing a smoked out liner. This is my go-to because it's just so easy to use and so creamy, but it does offer a lot of longevity as well. It's mascara time. These are probably very predictable because I use them all the time. The first one, of course, is the Marc Jacobs At Lash Mascara. I don't think there is another more perfect mascara out there for me than this one. This one gives such a beautiful fanned out effect, but it also offers a lot of volume and length. It doesn't flake or smudge during the day. It's just everything I look for in a mascara. And I also find the packaging to be very enticing as well for some reason. I just love it. The black and gold stripes are just very beautiful. Another reason why I love this mascara so much is the wand. I love how small and thin this wand is because you're able to really get into the innermost lashes, so you can coat them nicely and you're just able to manipulate every lash in the way that you want them. I always like to drag my lashes up and outwards so I get that kind of fanned out, flicked effect that looks really good with eyeliners. And this one is the perfect wand to do so and the perfect formula. It's just the best one. My next favorite mascara is the Gucci Beauty one, which hurts to say that because I know this one's very pricey, but it's just so nice. I like to reach for this one when I have more of a natural makeup look because it does give a more natural effect, if that makes any sense. It does offer a lot of length and you can build up the volume, but I just like how this one gives a really lengthened lash tint effect. It's just gorgeous and really easy to use, and it just lasts all day without crumbling or smudging as well. Beautiful product. I will probably continue repurchasing this one once it goes off. And my last favorite mascara, which I use on my bottom lashes every day without fail, is the Cosmetics Pick Me Up mascara. I love this one because it's a tubing mascara, so it just wears amazingly on your lower lashes. I never get any dots when I look down and my lashes hit my concealer. That never happens with this one. It never gives me any raccoon eyes, and I like to use this one also on my more natural days. I mostly use this one on my lower lashes if I'm being honest. I'll only use it on my top lashes time to time if I want a really natural lash effect. This one also gives a really nice lash tint vibe. So now let's move on to the lips. Let's start off with the Cosmetics Soft Blur Velvet Lip Liners. These have got to be my all-time favorite lip liners of all time, and not only for one specific shade. I love all of the shades in the lineup equally. I use them so much, but I guess if I had to be really picky, my favorites would be Fawn and Kitten. Fawn is like the exact same shade as my natural lip color, and Kitten is like a nice shade that matches a lot of my more bronzy or sunburn looking blushes. But these lip liners are very unique because they do give a blurred lip line effect, and I love that. So it's just a little bit more natural and soft, but they also wear really nicely and they prevent other lip colors from bleeding, and they're just stunning colors. And I hope they continue to launch more shades, more deep ones, and more fun colors as well, like some reds and purples and things like that. Would be really awesome to see. My second favorite formula is the MAC Cosmetics ones. This one's so tiny, but this is my most worn shade. This is the shade Oak. My other two favorites are Cork and Strip Down, but this is like the OG lip formula, so they're a little bit on the stiffer side, and they do offer a more precise, sharp lip line if you want them to, but their shades are just classically beautiful, and they're some of my most worn lip liners. My favorite lip combo of all time is MAC Oak with a clear lip gloss. It's just simple and it wears beautifully with any look out there. And my last favorite lip liner formula is actually from Persona, and my two favorite shades out of these lip liners are Almond and Rosewood. This one I'd say fits right in between the Cosmetics one and the MAC ones, just because this gives more precise line, but it also is kind of diffused, so it sits perfectly right there. And I love how creamy these ones glide very effortlessly, and they give more of an intense color payoff since they're ultra creamy. So I like to use this when I'm using actual lipsticks other than tints or glosses. Speaking of glosses, let's move on to my three favorite lip glosses. So number one spot has got to go to Tower 28. I've spoken about these countless times ever since this dropped into my collection. I don't think I've ever been able to shut up about them, but these are my three most worn shades. The clear one, which is in the shade Chill, the red one, which is in the shade Spicy, and Cashew, which is part of their Milky collection. This will give you the most dramatic gloss effect. These ones are incredible at fading your lip lines and just making your lips have this beautiful glass-like sheen to them. These ones are amazing at making your lips look plumper than they actually are. My second favorite formula is the Kosas Wet Lip Oils. I have only one shade, and I actually just recently repurchased this one. This is in the shade Jellyfish. This is still my first little bottle of it, but I love this gloss so much. It's more of like an everyday gloss, so it doesn't give you that really pillowy, dramatic look. It's just the perfect amount of glow, and it also is incredibly nourishing as well. This one is the one I like to pair most with the MAC Oak lip liner for some reason. I don't know why, but those two products always come with me no matter what. If I need touch-ups, they're always with me. And my last favorite gloss is the Buxom Pumpkin Spice Latte gloss. And I don't know what it is about this one, but it's just a gloss that I always revert to. This color is perfect. It kind of can pull like a warm pink or a warm nude color depending on what lip liner I have on and what blush too. It just is a transformative shade. And I also like this texture because it does have like this tackiness to it, but not in a way that it gets really sticky when you talk or move your mouth at all. It just is a long wearing gloss, and I also like its minty texture, and it does have a plumping ingredient to it as well, so it does have that cooling effect, which is just really nice and comforting. And I also find that it's a great one to go to if I'm feeling more anxious that day, because it kind of acts as a distraction. when I'm feeling so. But yes, this is probably one of my most worn lip glosses on my channel and off. And my last little section is my lipsticks, which honestly, they're mostly tinted lip balms. I haven't been reaching for many bullet lipsticks or liquefied lipsticks at all. These three here are honestly the only lipsticks I've been reaching for the last little while. First formula being the M Cosmetics lip cushions. And my three favorite shades are Faded Clementine, Venetian Rose, and Magic Hour. I love how these ones are like gloss sticks, but they also have a lot of pigmentation throughout them. So that's what makes these really worth it for me. The shades are beautiful. They feel really nourishing. They're just all around incredible. And my next one is the Charlotte Tilbury Sexy Lips. This is the one shade I love from that entire collection. I do have a few other ones from this lineup, but this is the only one I reach for. It's just such a specific shade right here. It just suits my bronzy look so much, and it's my go-to in the summer months when I have a really nice tan going on. It's just beautiful and it stands out to me so much. I reach for it constantly. And my last one might seem really fresh to you guys, but I first used this in my last video I published, but that video was filmed 2 weeks ago. But I have not been able to stop using this freaking lipstick. It's the one on my lips right now, or the remaining of it, because I've been filming for like 2 hours. I don't know if I need a touch up, but it's the NARS Brief Encounter Soft Matte Tinted Lip Balm. This is incredible. It honestly is very similar to the Glossier Generation G lipsticks, but a little bit more pigmented, and the texture is a lot smoother and more silky feeling. This color is incredible. It's a perfect, soft, bronzy brown. And I feel like I have nothing else to say other than I love it. Of course, it doesn't have a super long wearing time since it is a tinted lip balm. That doesn't stop me from using it constantly. But there we are. Those are all of my top 3 products in every category. This was honestly such a fun video to film and put together. I'd love to redo this sometime in the future. But with that being said, that is all for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video and found it fun and helpful. If you did, please give it a like. It would help me out so very much. I'll make sure to link all of these products in the description down below as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Love you. Bye.